So there's more. Apparently, there's another 2 hour. Here it is.
Part 30.
So we got more parts. Okay. But here's what I'm gonna watch this for as long as I can. It's boys' night with my brother, but I'm so invested. I'm not gonna end it yet, but I will eventually. USPS Twan.
3. Who the Mary? June 17th, 2021. So, you guys have been on this ride. You now know exactly what information I did have. The morning of June 17th, which was his birthday, he was in the bed as usual. Powerade bottles all over the place because I wasn't in the mood to clean. And so I went in his room. He was awake. He was watching YouTube on his cell phone. He watched a lot of YouTube, watching these two guys that always were fixing Jeeps on YouTube. And if I saw them, I would know exactly who they are, but I can't remember their name. It's a popular show on YouTube. Anyway, so I go in there and I just calmly sit on the edge of the bed. And I was like, can we talk? And he was like, yeah, what's up? I said to him, I said, Legion. Obviously, I called him his name. Legion. I said, I'm going to ask you something. I just want you to be honest with me. So he starts, I can already see in his eyes, he's about to get defensive. And I was like, calm. Because this is the tone I had. Calm. I said, you never went to San Diego State, did you? He rolls his eyes and he's like, I said, calm down. Watch your tone. I said, you never went to San Diego State. I said, you never lived in California, did you? And he said, of course I lived in California. He's like, I fucking showed you the house I had in California. He said, I told you about San Diego State. I was a private citizen. My dad paid for me to be a private citizen.
Private citizen. He really thought that narrative was good. He's not even expert level at lying, dude. He's like failing charisma checks. He's just like not good. Like she had no defenses for his persuasive skills because he wasn't even trying that hard. He was like, oh yeah, I'm a private citizen.
Okay. I said, I called San Diego State. And he looked at me. His eyes were like empty. Like he wasn't shocked. He wasn't like, oh my God. He was just more like, okay. I said, they have no record of you. I said, they have no record because you never went. You've never been to California. So at this point, I'm very calm. And I'm just stating, I said, you've never been to California. I said, I bet you've only lived in Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. At this point, now there's a little emotion behind the eyes. And I said, I don't think that this is going to work. And he said, what, the marriage? He was like, so what you saying? You don't want to be married to me anymore? And I said, I don't want to be married to you anymore. I said, we need to go our separate ways. We tried, but we need to go our separate ways. The way that I'm talking to you all is exactly how I was talking to him. And so he was like, that's not what marriage is. Marriage is, you have to fight for what you want. I said, I don't want this. I don't want to fight for it.
You have to fight for it? I
don't want this.
Bro, you're a bum. Fight for what? Your broke boy Invicta watches and your bum ass knee? The f out of here, dude. You ain't Derrick Rose. Get the out of here, bum.
And so he was like, I'm not giving up on the two of us. I said, you don't have a choice. I said, I think that you should call your brother or your sister now. And I think that you need to pack a bag. And I think you need to get the fuck out of my house. And he was like, I don't really have time for this. I don't feel well. I said, I don't care. You need to get out of my house. Again, the way I know y'all are going to be like, she's so dramatic. And in real, I am actually a very dramatic person. But the way that I'm talking to you guys on this video is exactly how I was talking to him in the beginning of how this started. So I said, you need to call your brother, or call your sister because she's in Douglasville, and you need to go stay there. You need to get out this house today.
She's got like addresses, social security numbers. She's like, this is the address that you need to go to. Okay, here's a Greyhound bus ticket that I got for you. Get the fuck out of my house. She knows. She knows now. She knows everything.
Basically, what happened was, at first, he refused. He wasn't moving fast enough for me. And so he called his aunt, and his aunt was on speakerphone. Let me preface that. She was on speakerphone. And so she was like, what's going on? And he was like, my wife don't want me no more. She claimed that I'd be lying to her. I ain't never lied to her. When I heard this, what's the analogy I can give y'all? When I heard him say to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her before, something in me snapped. The best analogy I can give you, do y'all remember that movie Carrie? When she was at the prom and everyone was laughing at her? The blood had fallen down on her. And there was a moment where her eyes just went wild and you knew something was about to happen. You just didn't know what, but y'all had pushed her too far. When he said to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her, I snapped. The calmness left. The amount of rage that was in me. I could have fought every member of the Kansas City Chiefs and beat every last one of their asses. I could have fought every member of the Atlanta Falcons and beat every last one of their asses. I'm not a violent person, but I was there. That statement, I ain't never lied to her, took me there. I went off. I went off. I went off so bad that first of all, every part of me was shaking. I called my mom. My mom was on speakerphone, and she's in Arkansas. My mom's a praying woman. I was cussing like a sailor. My mom finally said, put him on the phone. So I gave him the phone, and I'm standing there, and I'm looking around the room. It's the scene that I remember is the Angela Bassett scene in Waiting to Exhale, when her eyes are darting around the room right before she grabs everything to put it in the car to set it on fire. I was more so looking at what weapons were in the room: the lamp, the TV, the dresser. I was looking. While she was talking to him, my eyes were darting around the room, because if he did not get his ass up and get his shit and get up out of my house, it was going to be bad. If I've never in my life been on TikTok and said, thank you, had it not been for the blood, y'all, I know this is going to sound dramatic. I know this is going to sound like, girl, you so funny. You don't understand. Had it not been for the Lord on my side, had it not been for the fact that I know I got a praying mother, I know I had a praying aunt, I know I've had a praying grandmother in heaven, because I'm telling you, I clearly saw what was getting ready to happen had he not gotten up, got his shit, and got out of my house. So I'm trying to calmly say this because I'm trying to calmly tell this story because the rage had taken over me. The pure, unadulterated rage that I felt when he said to his aunt, I ain't never lied to her, after I had discovered only 2% of the lies at that point. Just 2%. So it was enough for me to be like,
There's 98% more lies after this? Are you freaking... What the hell? I know there's 2 hours and 39 more minutes of this, but god damn, dude.
need to get your stuff and go. So my mother gets on the phone and she says to him, Legion, she called him by name. She said, I am not there to control my daughter. She said, in the name of Jesus, get your stuff and get out that house, because I think she might kill you. Get out of the house. She's on my phone. His aunt is on his phone. His aunt said, nephew, come home. Home for her was Philly. She said, I'll send you money. Come home. Leave that house right now, she said, because I think that woman is about to kill you. Let's just go to part 34. Let's all just take a deep breath. Part 34.
Dude, I love that there's shadows in here that know what's going on. They go, big reveal on family front incoming. Okay, everybody chill. No spoilers.
Who the fuck did I marry? So the aunt told him, I'll send you money. Come home. And I'm yelling in the background, by the way. I'm not sitting there calmly. I'm yelling. I said, oh, he got money. Yeah, you got money. You got money in that offshore account, right? You got money in that Chase account. You got money to drive. So do what you got to do. I told him, and I'm not going to repeat some of the stuff I said because my mom might see this TikTok. But I did tell him, I was like, if you don't get out of this house, actually what I said was, you have two options. You either going to leave this house voluntarily, or you're going to leave this house involuntarily. And he tried to get a little nuck if you buck. He tried. And that's when because he was still on the bed, still laying in the bed. And he was just like, you ain't going to do shit. Like, don't talk to me like you done lost your fucking mind. Da, da, da. And I calmly got close to him. I got like this close. And I literally said, I will beat you like the bitch you are. I dare you to try me. I said, I will literally beat you like the male bitch you are. And so
Yeah, dude, it's because he's in bed. Dude, 6'4" with a bum knee, and all of a sudden it doesn't work no more. The 6'4" confidence went away because when he's laying in bed, he's like 4 foot tall max. You know what I'm saying? Like he's as tall as the bed at that point. That's crazy.
when I said that, his eyes were like, I said, I'm not even playing. Because at this point, I'm rocking like back and forth. Y'all, again, I'm not some hardened tight chick. I'm not. I want the soft lifestyle, but I have been pushed to the point. So I'm rocking, I'm walking back, I'm pacing. So finally, his aunt was able to get through to him. I had called my mother, my aunt. I had called the pastor. I had called all these people because I did know that I was in a very dangerous place. Not because I'm scared of him. At this point, I was scared of me. I don't know if this has ever happened to someone where you know your own, you know yourself. You know that you got a line. I was over that line. So
I'm not going to lie. Her faith in the Lord is very powerful. Because like, I don't understand that. I've never been a particularly religious person. But after all of these trials and tribulations, I would have been like, this Lord stuff, maybe, you know, the Christian conservatism angle would have probably jumped out of my body. It would have left my soul at that point. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. It's crazy that she's still on that.
I had enough wherewithal to be like, okay, you probably gonna go to jail today. You probably gonna go to jail. You probably gonna have that job in the morning. Like I was there. And again, this is not to sound bragging at all. This was a woman who I could not believe that even with the attempt of me trying to give him one last opportunity to tell me the truth, he still lied in my face. I was at my edge. So I yanked the covers back and I told him, I was like, get up, get the fuck out of my house. Again, I'm saying it calmly on here. It was nothing calm in the house when this happened. So I'm throwing stuff up against the wall. I remember I looked at the lamp. He looked at me looking at the lamp. And I think something in him realized, okay, yeah, I'm in pain, but if I don't get up, she's going to do something with that lamp. So he does get up. He is still on the phone with the aunt because the aunt was pretty much like, keep me on the phone. She did not want him to hang up. He throws some stuff together. Again, keep in mind, he has all his stuff in the house. So he basically packed like 2 bags worth of clothes. And he's limping around, and I'm standing in the hallway watching him like a probation officer. So he's limping around, and I'm looking at the condition of the bedroom. This is when I noticed Legion had been semi-bedridden. Remember, I told y'all that because the knee and other stuff. I look at these bottles of Powerade because he had been drinking Powerade so much at this point. He was not getting up to go to the bathroom. He was drinking the Powerade and then using the empty bottles to pee in.
Okay, he definitely is like.
So there was about 6 bottles around the bed, and I was like, "What is this?"
Addicted to drugs for
because,
sure.
Again, I hadn't really been going in that room. I was busy being CIA, FBI, and Homeland Security for the past 2 weeks. So I was like, "What is this?" He was like, "I'm gonna throw it out." He grabbed the trash bag, put the bottles in there, and I said, "What are in those bottles?" I said, "Tell me." And I think I started like twitching, like, "Tell me." That is not piss in those bottles. He was like, "I couldn't make it to the bathroom. I was in too much pain." So at this point, I'm even more like, "Yeah, get the fuck out. Get out. Get out of my
Dude, he's piss maxing.
house." So I helped him. While he was packing his bags, I went downstairs. I took the house key off of his keys. I went back upstairs. He had his 2 bags. I grabbed the 2 bags. Yes, I did. I grabbed the 2 bags.
Oh, you got to call a locksmith. No way. You got to call a locksmith. You got to change up maybe even move at that point. He's coming back. Ain't no way. You think he only has 1 set of keys? No shot.
I had opened up the garage. I had already popped the trunk for his car and threw the bags in the car. I did that because I was like, "You getting out of this house. You getting out of this house today. You can't come back. You can't come back ever." So it took him about 2 hours from the time of "I will beat you like the bitch you are" for him to actually leave the house. Again, I'm calm telling y'all this story. It was not calm in the house. So he eventually puts on some sweatpants. Now I can really see how much weight he's lost. But he puts on some sweatpants. He puts on a shirt. He's limping down. He's like, "You really gonna kick me out on my birthday?" I just looked at him. Opened the door. He went through the
It's like even the birthday's fake.
garage, got into his car, called, his aunt was still on the phone, and she was like, "I'm gonna send you some money." And that's the part.
Yeah, happy
I was
birthday,
like,
bitch.
clearly he has the money. Like, you ain't got to send the money. He doesn't even have to go to Philly. He can just go get a hotel for now. I don't care what he does. He just got to leave his house. So he ends up getting in the car, driving off. My mom calls, and she's just like, "Is he still there?" I said, "No." I had not told her what all he had lied about. Even in the midst of me being angry and me going off, I never told him that I spoke to the ex-wife. I never told him I knew he was lying about the stepdaughter, because then he would have asked how, what makes you say that? So I did keep my word. I never told him I spoke to her. So he eventually left. I text a friend of mine. I text my landlord. I said, "I have an emergency. I need to know if it is okay to get the locks changed." Landlord was like, "That's fine." My landlord was super cool. Shout out to Mr. Patel. I went to Home Depot, bought brand new locks. Text a friend of mine, asked him, "When you get off work, can you please come by my house? I need the locks changed today." So he was like, "Oh, okay, what's going on?" I said, "I'll explain it later." So to give you a timeline of June 17th, when I asked him about San Diego State and I told him that I know you've never even been to California, that was about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. By the time he left the house, it was maybe going on noon, 1 o'clock. So this happened pretty quickly. If you're wondering, why did you even ask him? I already knew that I wanted out. I knew that. But for some reason, a part of me was like, let's just see if he'll be honest just one last time.
No.
And it sent me into a rage. And then he lied to his aunt, saying, "I ain't never lied to her." And that sent me over the edge. So by 1 o'clock, by 1:30, he was gone. By 2:30, I had done a pretty good job of cleaning up the bedroom. He had thrown away the Powerade bottles, so I didn't have to touch those. I stripped the sheets. Anything that he touched in that bedroom, I stripped the sheets, threw them in the trash bag, threw them out in the trash can. And so most of this was adrenaline. Adrenaline was because I hate packing. I hate doing all that stuff. I went on Amazon. I ordered oversized large tote bags because I was packing up all his shit. Part 35. Who the fuck did I marry? So I packed up all his stuff. Okay. The reason why I packed up all his stuff is because I had a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath townhome. One room was the guest room. Obviously, there was a master bedroom, and then we had a TV room that he had made like his Philadelphia Eagles man cave. I was going to put everything that belonged to him, pack it up, and
Red
put
flag,
it in
Eagles
the TV
fan.
room, because the plan should have been that he's going to come back and get all his stuff. Okay, so that's why I did it. And honestly, it just felt good to pack up his stuff and go through it freely, because when he packed in a hurry, he left obviously really important things. He left all his Invicta watches. He left all his WWE championship belts. No,
not his Invicta watches. That's got to be a cool $113 for 8. You know what I mean? No, not his valuable possessions. No. My man had WWE belts and Invicta watches. He's literally a 14-year-old. Okay. This is crazy. Oh, he got a good rock bottom deal on Invicta.com.
If you know anything about WWE championship belts, you know those things are expensive. He left all his Jordans. He left suits. He left Cole Haan shoes. He left all that because it was such a hurry for him to leave. So all that was still in my house. So around 2:30, I think I wasn't even at a place where I could start crying. I was just too angry, still shaking, packing everything up. One of the things that he left is a photo album with all the pictures of his mom and dad and his siblings growing up. Now, I had the thought of I was going to have a burn party and I was going to put it on Facebook Live. I was going to burn it with my friends and drink and dance and play music. But it's his deceased parents. I do have a heart. So I put that somewhere special, meaning I put it up in the closet. He had told me that he was going to come back and get his stuff. And so I just did not, I didn't throw anything out unless it was like something I knew was trash. Other than that, I put everything up and kept it, in the TV room. So that's June 17th. Also on June 17th, I had already ordered his birthday cake. I had ordered the birthday cake like the end of May because it was like a special birthday cake. So I also had to go get the birthday cake from the bakery in East Point. And I took it to my family's house and we ate it. Yes, I had left the house, went to my family's house, filled them in, my aunt, my little cousin, and my grandfather, because my mom was in Arkansas. So I went over to their house, filled them in on what was going on. They could not believe it. Although my grandfather then told me, he said, he ain't look like he was a football player. He was like, I didn't want to say nothing, but he ain't look like he was a football player. Gotta love grandparents. So we ate his birthday cake. Went back home. The friend that I had called came, changed all the locks. I changed the security codes. Effectively, he would not have been able to get in that house. So that is what happened on June 17th. So now we can fast forward. He would text me and he would call me that he got to Philly. Apparently he left Georgia and immediately went to Philly. So he immediately went to Philly, and he did text me and said that he made it to Philly and he was staying at his aunt's house. I know that this is a short part. That's okay, because what we're doing now is I went through how we met. I went through how we dated. I went through how we got married. Now I'm taking you all to June 17th. The week after June 17th, he's in Philly. He still would call me. He still would text me. The conversations we were having the week after June 17th, so this would be June 18th up to the 24th. The conversations we were having had to do with divorce. So who's going to file? And he was like, well, I don't want a divorce. I'm going to fight you on it. Are you? Really? Are you going to fight me on the divorce? I didn't know anything about filing for divorce. So
I don't think it works that way. Also, why is she still talking to him? I just don't understand. Like, just cut it. Cut him out of the life completely. What is this? Arena football salary? Interest is peaking right now, boys. Interest is off the charts right now for arena football salaries.
But I refuse to stay in a place of ignorance. So I went online. There's a website that you can go to where you pay like a $200, $239 fee, and you fill out basic information and you choose your state. And they will not process, but they will make all your documents. All you gotta do is print it out and take it to the court. And it is step-by-step directions. We didn't have any property with each other. We didn't have any kids with each other. So by the state of Georgia's standards, this should be an uncontested divorce. So the conversation that last week, the week of June 18th to the 24th, was about divorce. What stuff do you want to keep? Well, I'm gonna come and get all my stuff. I just don't understand why you couldn't talk to me about it. I said, there's no room for talking because you've been lying to me since day one. But even still, keep in mind, as of June 17th, June 18th, June 19th, I did not know what I know now. So the lies were really only like 5% of the whole story. So June 24th or 25th is when I had printed my documents. And I'm laughing because at this point in time, I've read y'all's comments about how that man will print out stuff. I know. But I used the website, typed all my stuff in, got my documents, and then I went, I took a day off from the job because I was getting ready to transition into the new job. So I left work early, went to the courthouse, and filed for divorce. I filed. I paid. And then I already had the documents where he would have needed to sign so that it could then be entered into for a divorce settlement agreement. So going into part 36 or 35, I know there's so many parts. Going into the next part.
She needs to get those Invicta watches. She needs to fight tooth and nail for the Invicta watches. She retains the Hasanabi subscription so she can avoid the ad breaks at the top of the hour. You know what I'm saying? Like, she needs to. At the top of the hour, there is a 3-minute ad break for those of you who aren't married to her and don't have a joint Twitch account watching. And you will see a 3-minute ad break at the top of the hour. Sorry. Those watches pay for that $700,000 house. Yes, I'm still watching it. Dude, it's too compelling. Thank you, Anonymous Gifter. Thank you, Trev Tennessee, for the fire. Get the subs. There's no, I mean, it's just so much. So much happened. She found out that he was like cheating on her with a prostitute from like the beginning of the relationship almost. I think we suspect he has a crippling opiate addiction. And it's like, I don't want her thinking that's a chew toy. And she's filing for divorce.
Is where I can tell you guys what happened with him, because he drove to Philly and he was in Philly for about a week, maybe 3 to 4 days. Then I get a message on Facebook Messenger from a woman claiming to be his cousin.
I can't go pee. God damn it.
Oh, Jesus. So the cousin tells me, actually, I can tell y'all. So the cousin tells me that he's there. He's telling the family that I kicked him out. He's telling the family that I kicked him out after he walked in on me having an affair, that I stole his money, and I then kicked him out. And the man I was having an affair with, he said, was a law enforcement officer who used his...
This guy is a one-trick pony, man. He just keeps doing the same thing. Anywhere he goes, he's like, man, it's so crazy that my fucking ex-wife cheated on me.
Duty weapon to threaten him to get out the house. This is what he told his family. And the cousin was reaching out to me. She found me through a search on Facebook and was reaching out to me because she's like, we know he lies. So I'm just trying to figure out what, like, is this true? Because he's up here asking us for money, asking to stay on our couches.
Oh no, like, his family is like, this bum, this fucking dumbass. He's like constantly lying. We hate him.
What's going on? Then she explained to me, we didn't even know he got married. So this is the first time we're hearing about you. What do you mean you didn't know he got married? He talks to his brother every day. She said, who told you that? I said, I've heard him talk to his brother every day. All his brothers. She said, all his brothers. How many brothers do you think he has? I said, he has 4 brothers. I named them. She said, he has 2 brothers. She said, he has the twin and he has the older brother. I said, twin. Who is the twin?
Oh, are you for fucking real? There's a twin? Yo! Yo! Oh my God. Oh, it was so worth not pissing for this. Fuck. Oh, be for fucking real. This is literally a movie. Oh. I can't deal with this. What the fuck? Bro. Oh my God. There's not one Gemini. There's 2 Geminis. You're hiding a twin. I already ran the top of the hour ad break, bitch. You missed it.
Next part, where we discover the real family tree. Part 36, who the fuck did I marry? The family tree. Please fasten your seatbelts and put the tray tables in the upright position.
You gonna order food?
All right. The cousin, I'm not going to name her. The cousin had reached out to me on Facebook, asked me to please give her a call. So this conversation was on the phone. Yes, I was actually speaking to her. She informs me again about the whole, he's up there, he's telling everyone that he walked in on me cheating on him. It was with a law enforcement officer, and that the law enforcement officer used his duty weapon to threaten him to get him out of the house. The reason why I'm particularly mentioning the fact that he said it was law enforcement is because he was trying to get a family member, like one of his cousins, to call the agency of the law enforcement officer and file a complaint, which in hopes would then start an internal affairs investigation.
He's so dumb. He's like, that's not how this would work. First of all, thin blue line, that shit's not going to work at all. Okay, they're not going to give a fuck. Secondly, even if they were to conduct an investigation, against who? You're just going to make up a guy? You're going to make up a... Okay. Guy's being so cute. She's pushing her toy onto my lap. Okay.
Yeah. So, female cousin's on the phone with me. She's telling me everything that he is telling them. She's like, look, we know he's a liar. We don't fuck with him. He's been a liar since a kid, but he's also family. She said, we didn't know at all who you are. So I thought that was interesting because I was like, you didn't know who I was, but his brother knew who I was. And so, again, that's when I said to her that I was like, he's talked to his brother every day. So, like, why wouldn't the brother tell y'all that he had gotten married? And so she said, what brother? And so I told her the brother's name. And she said, he told you that? I said, he was having the phone calls in front of me. So at this point, what the cousin said was, she was like, okay, I'm going to confirm that with him. She was like, he lives up the street, so I'm going to just confirm that with him. She was like, because I'm pretty sure that they have been beefing for a while. I was like, I can only tell you what I saw, what I heard. That's all I can say. So then when she asked me about, well, how many brothers do you think he has? And I said, he has 4 brothers. Again, I listed all of them. This woman was like, he has 2 brothers. She said he has the twin, and he has the older brother, the one that he was on the phone with every morning, blah, 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 blah. I said, twin? Who's the twin? So this is where she explained to me. She said the parents, mom and dad, had the older brother. The older brother is about 5 or 6 years older than Legion. Legion and the younger brother, who lives in Nashville, they are twins. So when he kept saying my younger brother by 2 years, it's his older brother by 20 minutes. They are twins. I have seen a picture of this brother. Yes, they do very much look alike, but I didn't know they were twins. It doesn't even matter. I didn't know they were twins. But definitely they had the same mom and dad. So she was like, no, that he's older than Legion by 20 minutes. They're twins. She said, so the parents had 3 boys, brother in Philly, the older brother, and the twins. She was like, who the hell are these sisters that you're talking about? So I tell her, I was like, Shantae and Kim. She said, I don't know who Shantae is. She said, Kim is my daughter. Kim is not his sister. Kim is my daughter. And she said, that's his cousin. She was like, and they haven't spoken in about 20 years. So no, that's not his sister. He does not have any sisters. And I said, well, then what about the other 2 brothers? She was like, what other 2 brothers? I said, the brothers from his dad. She was like, you mean to tell me this man is going around telling people, I know somebody's going to quote Nicki Minaj, lying on your dead mama, but try not to. She said, you mean to tell me this man is walking around lying on his dad, saying that his dad had kids outside of his mom? And I kind of stuttered like, yeah. She's like, he does not. She said, I have no idea who those 2 men are. She said, those are not his brothers. But if y'all remember, I met those 2, and he introduced them as, you know, man, this is my brother John, this is my brother Matt, you know, type thing. And so they both were like, oh, my sister, it's good to meet you, it's good to meet you. Remember that, because obviously I do eventually talk to those 2 men again. So she says to me, the family tree is mom and dad, the 3 sons. She was like, there are no sisters. She said, I don't have a clue who Shantae is. She said, Kim is my daughter, so that's just their cousin. But again, they ain't spoken 20 years. I said, okay, and then there was the grandmother. She said, yeah, she named the grandmother. She was like, yeah, she died in like 2008. I said, yeah, he told me that she died in 2020. And that, you know, all of you were coming down for the memorial service.
Dead.
And she's just like, she died in 2008. I said, then there was the uncle who also died from COVID. She was like, which uncle is that? I told her the name. She said, he's been dead since like, 2010. I said, okay, what about the cousin nicknamed Junebug? Everybody got a cousin. If you're not African American, we all know a Junebug somewhere. And she just was like, oh yeah, you know, cousin Junebug. She was like, man, that's crazy what happened to him. And I was like, what do you mean what happened to him? Because I know he has talked to his cousin Junebug on the phone like a few months prior. He was like, and so she said to me, she said, yeah, he had passed away in like 2016. So this is now 3 people that she's naming that I recall him having either a story about or a phone call with, and she's telling me that they are all passed away. So this is when the conversation kind of changes, and she's like, you know what? She said, let me speak to the older brother because he probably wants to talk to you. She's like, you probably should talk to him, and a lot of your questions will get answered. She was like, this dude's been lying ever since he was a kid. She was like, she said, literally, we don't fuck with him. I remember her saying that verbatim. She was so adamant. She was like, and when he showed up here out the blue, talking about how his wife cheated on him with a law enforcement officer, and how the guy took his gun out and threatened him to leave the house. She was like, we knew something was up. She was like, that's why I had to find out who you were and reach out to you and find out the truth. I said, there was no other guy. There was no law enforcement officer. And she was like, yeah, because he was telling us where the dude worked and how we should go ahead and help him file a complaint so that this dude could lose his job. I said, there is no other person. I said, I kicked him out. That was me, all by myself. No gun, just my fist. And so she said, you know, he's telling us that he had gotten married, and then she was like, apparently y'all had a baby. So she was like, so you got a kid with him? So I had explained to her, I said, no, I said I had a miscarriage back in June of 2020, and I had to have surgery in July. So she was just like, girl. So she started like really being encouraging and was saying, you dodged a bullet, honey. She was like, I don't wish this. She's like, I know he my family, but I don't wish him on no woman. So we've had each other's numbers. She was like, if you need anything, please feel free to call me. She was like, I've had my own issues with him. I've had my own issues in life. But she was like, get your divorce and be done with him. Then she said, I'm going to put you in contact with the older brother. The next part is me finally talking to the older brother that he had been talking to every morning. Part 37, who the fuck did I marry? So at this point in time, I have filed for divorce. I paid for the filing fee. I'm representing myself pro se, and it should be an uncontested divorce. During this time, Legion had driven to Philly, lied to his family, and said I had cheated on him, that he caught me, and that the guy I cheated on him with was a law enforcement officer who used his gun to threaten him to get out of the house. None of that was true. At some point while he was in Philly, he ran out of options in terms of where he could stay. Family members did not want him to stay with them. Apparently, a lot of bridges were burned, according to the female cousin I had talked to on the phone. So he left Philly and went to Augusta. Yes, what you were hearing is correct. He drove from Georgia to Philly, stayed in Philly for about 3-4 days, left Philly, drove back to Georgia, went to Augusta. Keep in mind, if you have lost your notes at this point, he was raised in Philly and did high school in Augusta before he went to California. So he has family in Augusta. So at this point, he's on his way to Augusta to stay with a new set of people. The reason why this is important is because what I have is a divorce settlement agreement. That divorce settlement agreement has to be signed by the 2 of us, where we are basically telling the court, look, this is what he's keeping, this is what I'm keeping. I need his signature.
You know what to do?
Let me repeat that. I need his signature because I wanted a very quick and painless divorce, as much as it could be. So by this time, this is now around June 25th. So around June 25th, he's now in Augusta. He had left the house June 17th. So between June 17th and June 24th is the trip to Philly, then leaving Philly, coming to Augusta. My aunt and my little cousin get in the car with me, and I drive to Augusta with a rag on my head, some sweatpants, and a tank top. It says July, so it's hot. But we ride to Augusta. I had spoken to him. I had said, I just need you to sign this piece of paper. And he was like, I'll get to it when I get to it. No. We're going to get to
Yeah, honestly, just forge it. Like, he's such a serial liar and a con man. Like, who's gonna believe him when he says he didn't actually sign it? You know what I mean? Just fake it. Who gives a fuck? YOLO. Everyone's on board. The judge is gonna be watching this shit, like the TikTok series. Everyone's invested. Rank them: Legion, Westholm, Caleb, Tinder Swindler. I would say Legion is top, especially because like Tinder Swindler at least is like he had a purpose, like he had a motivation. He was an international con man. Westholm Caleb is not even a thing. Like, it's just, he didn't even do nothing. Legion just does it for the game. Like, that's what makes it real weird. You know what it is? Legion is like the real scary serial killer, right? Like the type of dude that you don't know. Like, a lot of murders, there's like a motivation. But the guy you got to look out for, the type of murderer that like really breaks your brain, is the guy who just like walks into a random place, walks into a random house and starts chopping motherfuckers. He's basically doing that, but instead of chopping people, he's just chopping hearts. It doesn't even make sense. Like, there's no rhyme or reason for him to be acting this way. If Legion lied on the marriage license and the marriage is invalid and can just be annulled. All right, this is where we're gonna end it for now. I'm gonna bookend it. I'm so invested in this, but I have my buddy is here, my brother is here. I gotta spend time with them. I feel bad. I will finish this tomorrow. Tomorrow I also turn emo. For those of you who don't know, that's gonna be fun. We got a big banger of a stream lined up. Holy fuck, that's just, I don't even know. I'm going to be thinking about this a lot. Part 37 is where we stopped, and I don't want you motherfuckers to go and watch it and then come in here with a whole bunch of random nonsense, spoiling this shit up. No, I'm not going to do Crime Watch right now, chatter. What the fuck's wrong with you? I'm going to bed. No, I'm not going to bed, but